It was not a regular station but a sort of shunting yard where the trains halted before being switched onto their right lines. There were tracks, switches, trains and carriages but no passengers. An armored train was drawn up at the platform. An iron window opened and, for a second, the face of the engine driver was visible in the light of the firebox. Jenny's father, Colonel Alexandrov, stood on the platform in his leather coat. A lieutenant came up to him, saluted and said, "Comrade Colonel, may we start?" "Yes." The colonel glanced at his watch, 3:53. "The orders are to leave at 3:53. Colonel Alexandrov went up to his carriage and looked about him. It was growing light, but the sky was overcast. He turned the moist handle and the heavy door opened. As he placed his foot on the step he smiled and said to himself, "In a first-class sleeper." Yes, in a first-class sleeper. The heavy steel door shut behind him with a thud. Smoothly, without jerking or creaking, the armored giant went into motion and steadily picked up speed. The engine glided past, then the gun turrets. Moscow was left behind. Mist was rising. The stars faded. Day was breaking. Finding both Timur and the motorcycle gone when he returned from town in the morning, George decided to send Timur back to his mother then and there. He had just sat down to write the letter when he glanced through the window and saw a soldier coming up the gravel walk. The soldier produced an envelope. "Comrade Gareev," he asked. "Yes." "Please sign for this envelope." The soldier left. George inspected the envelope and whistled significantly. "Yes." Here it was, what he had been waiting for so long. He opened the envelope, read the message inside and then crumpled up the letter he had begun to write. Now he did not have to send Timur home, but to send a wire to the boy's mother asking her to come out to them. Just then Timur entered the room. At the sight of him George brought his fist down on the table furiously. In Timur's wake came Olga and Jenny. "Shush," said Olga. "There's no need to shout or bang the table. It's not Timur's fault." "It's your fault, and mine too." "That's right," said Jenny. "Don't you dare shout at him." "Olga, don't touch the table." "That revolver of theirs makes an awful noise when it goes off." George looked at Jenny, then at the revolver, then at the chipped clay ashtray. He began to see the light. "So it was you who slept here that night, Jenny," he said. "Yes, it was I." "Olga, tell him all about it while Timur and I get some kerosene and a cloth and clean up the bike." Olga was sitting on the porch the following day when an army officer came in through the gate. He walked with a confident stride, like a man returning to his own home. Olga, perplexed, rose to meet him. George stood in front of her in the uniform of a captain of the tank corps. "What's this?" Olga asked softly. "A new part in your opera." "No," replied George. "I've dropped in to say goodbye." "This isn't a new part, it's just a new uniform." "Is this," Olga asked, pointing to his insignia and blushing slightly, "what you meant the other day when you said, 'We strike through iron and through reinforced concrete straight to the heart'?" "Yes, this is it." "Sing me something, Olga, something for me to take away on my long, long journey." He sat down. Olga picked up her accordion. "Airmen all and pilots." "Bombers all and fighters." "Now you've taken off for far away." "When will you come back to me?" "I cannot tell when it will be, only come back. Any time on any day." "There," she said. "But it's all about flyers. I don't know any good songs about tankmen." "It doesn't matter," George said. "See if you can't say something nice to me and forget about the songs." Plunged in thought, seeking the right good word, Olga gazed quietly and intently into his grey, no longer laughing eyes. Jenny, Timur and Tanya were in the garden. "Listen," suggested Jenny. "George is leaving." "Let's get the whole company to see him off." "Let's send out the #1 general rally signal." "Won't it cause a commotion though?" "No, better not," Timur said. "Why not?" "Better not." "We didn't see anyone else off like that." "Oh, all right, if we oughtn't to, we won't," agreed Jenny. "You sit here while I go and get a drink." When she left, Tanya burst out laughing. "What's the matter?" asked Timur. Tanya laughed all the louder. "There's a clever girl for you. She's a sly one, our Jenny." "I'll go and get a drink," she say. "Tension!" Jenny's voice rang out triumphantly from the loft. "Here goes #1 general rally signal."